The last signal came in at 3:47 Earth time. It was meant to be a routine check-in from Titan Station, one of humanity's farthest outposts, orbiting the orange skies of Saturn's frozen moon. The station had always been quiet, calm, and full of data, but this signal was different. Static cracked through the speakers, then screams. One final broken word. V vanished, then silence. Total silence. No data. No light pulse transmission. No ping. The stars went quiet. Captain Myra Kessler sat frozen in mission control, eyes locked on the main screen. Around her, the command room buzzed with nervous energy officers typing, whispering, checking systems again and again. But everyone knew what they were seeing. Titan Station was gone. "Replay it," she said, voice tight. The technician nodded and brought the message up again. The screen flickered. The audio filled the room. Static. A man's voice. No, get it. Locked. Do it now. Screaming. Something metallic crashing. Then they vanished. Everything's vanished. A final burst of noise. Then silence. The file ended. And the quiet afterward felt heavier than before. Myra stood. That was Engineer Harlan, that voice. "He was on Deck 3, said another officer. "Structural systems, and the station. Still not responding. Not even emergency beacons. It's just gone." 24 hours later, Earth sent a recon vessel SS Helix from the Callisto outpost to Titan's orbit. On board was a small team. Commander Dax Hill, veteran pilot Dr. Alara Shin, astrophysicist Lieutenant Cruz, weapons and defense, and Unit 9, an AI drone built for silent extraction. The Helix reached Titan space without issue. The icy moon loomed below them, cold, dead, but in orbit nothing. No station, no debris. Just an empty patch of space where Titan Station had floated for 23 years. Hill squinted at the radar. This doesn't make sense. Hands moved quickly over her console. Station didn't explode. There's no wreckage, no energy signature. Nothing at all. It's like it was never there. Cruz checked weapon status, or someone cleaned up real well. "Scan again," Hill ordered. And that's when Unit 9 found something. A piece of metal, floating undamaged. Roughly the size of a locker door. Burned into a deep, deliberate, was a strange mark. A black circle, surrounded by 6 jagged lines like claws. And beneath it, written in scorched carbon, "They have been heard." On Earth, the footage was received. With stunned silence, experts, linguists, and analysts were brought in, but no one could recognize the symbol. It wasn't in any database. Not alien, not human, not old tech. Just something new, something unknown. Public networks caught wind of the disappearance, and rumors spread fast. Some said a black hole swallowed the station. Others whispered about a secret alien fleet hiding in Saturn's shadow. One theory said the crew had been taken body and soul by something not meant to be awakened at the United Earth Command Center in Geneva. The president held a private meeting with top military and science leaders. "We've lost contact with 6 other deep space probes in the last week," said General Moreau, to near Neptune. One near the Oort line, all within the same time frame. Dr. Saul, head of the Deep Network Observatory, added, "It's not random. The signals are vanishing in a line, moving inward." The room went silent. Someone asked, "Toward Earth?" Dr. Saul nodded grimly. "Yes, if the pattern holds, we have 30 days. Back on the Helix, things got worse." Alara looked up. From her console, pale, "We just lost telemetry with Europa Base." Hill turned sharply. "That's inside Jupiter's orbit." "I know." Then Unit 9 chirped an alert. Something new was moving on long-range sensors. A shape, just outside radar range. Not a ship. It's not an asteroid. Something massive floating or waiting. "Visual," Cruz shouted, but there was nothing. Just space. Empty black. And yet, the ship's lights flickered for 1/2 second. Hill stared ahead, jaw tight. Something is here, watching us. He turned the Helix around. "We're heading back to Earth now." 2 days later, ISS Helix returned, but its final report was brief. Titan Station was gone. No wreckage, no survivors. One artifact with unknown markings, and something unseen, unfelt now, lingered in the outer dark. As the helix docked, its lights blinked again. Once, then Earth's deep space communication network began to fail, one relay after another. From the outer colonies to the inner system, by midnight, Earth lost contact with everything beyond Mars. In a quiet room at the Global Defense Corps, Captain Myra Kessler reviewed the last clean scan from Titan's orbit. It's a simple image, stars, space. And in the corner, something odd. She zoomed in. There, barely visible, was the outline of a structure. It's a massive curved object stretching across the background. She enhanced it, not a ship. A ring. Huge, silent, and not human-made. Mira whispered, "How long has it been there?" No one knew. Far away in the dark beyond Saturn, something stirred. Something old. Something patient. The stars had gone silent. But Earth was still listening. And soon it would answer. With thunder. The stars had not spoken in 10 days. Every outpost beyond Marcellin, every long-range probe dead. No signals, no calls, no warnings, just emptiness. On Earth, fear began to settle in. Not loud panic, but quiet, creeping dread. Something was coming. And no one knew what it wanted. In orbit above Earth, inside the high-security command station Argonne, Captain Mira Kessler watched the countdown on the main screen. 01307A. A mysterious signal had arrived the night before. It wasn't a voice. It wasn't a language. Just coordinates. And a timer. 13 minutes left. Kessler turned to her team. "Is it a weapon?" Dr. Abbas shook his head. No energy spike. No radiation. No transmission other than the countdown. It a bluff? Unknown. Commander Wolf stared at the blinking timer. What if it's an arrival? Kessler didn't answer. She just kept watching the numbers drop at that same moment. On the surface below, something else was happening. Civilian ships in deep space began vanishing from sensors. A mining barge near the asteroid belt disappeared mid-transmission. Medical shuttle headed for Europa blinked off all scanners, and an old freighter, the Bristlewind, sent one last burst. The stars. They're looking at us. Then silence. Back on Argonne, the timer reached 0. Everyone held their breath. Nothing happened. No flash. No sound. No movement. Kessler exhaled. Slowly false alarm? Dr. Abbas checked his readings. Hold on. He zoomed in on the edge of the solar system. There, he pointed. An object had appeared. Enormous. Motionless. Hidden behind the orbit of Neptune. No signal, no heat, no movement, just... Watching down on Earth, the Global Defense Council went into silent lockdown. One word now filled every room, every message, every breath: invasion. General Morrow led the first classified session. We're dealing with something that doesn't speak, doesn't blink, doesn't even move. But it's here, and it's making sure we know it. Could it be a gate? Asked a satellite engineer. Could it be a weapon? Someone else said. No, Dr. Saul muttered. It's something else. Something worse. Everyone turned toward her. It's a mirror. Project Thunder was activated that same night. Earth's last line of defense, an old program built in secret after the Mars Wars. Hidden under the Andes Mountains. Thunder Command wasn't a fleet. It wasn't a weapon. It was a signal designed to shout back at whatever tried to silence Earth. But they weren't ready to launch it yet, not without knowing what the enemy even was. So Earth sent one last team into the dark. The Ghost. Fleet, 3 stealth ships built for silence and survival. No heat signature, no transmissions. Just shadows in space. Their mission: approach the object near Neptune. Observe, report. Do not engage. The ships left in silence. 6 hours later, their signals were lost, mid-transmission, the last line. From their lead AI read, they are already inside. In the hours that followed, everything got worse. Earth's defense satellites began to flicker. One by one, they failed. Not destroyed, just turned off. In some cases, cameras caught strange shimmer before power loss, like a ripple in space. It's a glitch in reality. A presence too big to fit in one place. Then, over eastern Australia, the night sky changed. For one full second, new star appeared, bright blue. Wrong. Then it vanished. People started to panic. Governments struggled to keep control. Rumors spread faster than facts. Some believed Earth had been invaded already, and no one had noticed. Others thought the alien force was testing them, waiting for the right moment to strike. One underground theory said Earth was being judged by something ancient, but Captain Kessler had seen enough. She made the call. Wake the speaker. Deep beneath Earth's crust, hidden in the echo core, lay the speaker, a Rayan Aliantica-inspired communication device built after the discovery of a shattered artifact on Ceres. It could amplify a signal across space, even through silence. No one had ever used it because no one had needed to, until... Kessler's voice echoed through the chamber. This is Earth's command. If you can hear us, we are responding to your presence. We seek peace, but we are prepared to defend our home. Do not mistake our silence for fear. She paused, then added quietly, we are not afraid of thunder. The signal was sent, and Earth waited. Minutes passed. Then, in orbit around Mars, an old satellite came to life. It transmitted one phrase in English. Earth has spoken. The trial begins. And with that, the satellite self-destructed. The alien object beyond Neptune began to move slowly, deliberately, closer. Every telescope on Earth turned to watch. Every sensor tracked it. Its surface shifted, bending light, revealing patterns that no one could understand. But then, a second object appeared beside it. Then a third, then more. 10, 15, 20, all silent. Still, no weapons had been fired. No threats made. Only silence. Captain Kessler stood in the war room, surrounded by blinking lights and unreadable signals. This isn't a war, she whispered. It's a warning. General Morrow stepped forward, and we need to answer it. Loud enough for the whole galaxy to hear. Somewhere far beyond Saturn, inside one of the dark ships, a presence stirred. Not a creature, not a machine, a consciousness. Cold. Watching it did not understand Earth's noise, its fire, its thunder. But it would, because Earth had made a choice. They would not go silent. They would not vanish. They would answer with thunder. At 4:12 Earth Standard Time, orbital defense platform Aegis 4 went silent. For 6 seconds, every system blinked. Outpower comes. Sensors. When the systems rebooted, the station was still there. Still in orbit. Still intact. But everyone aboard was gone. Not dead, not injured, just gone. Captain Myra Kessler stared at the live feed. It showed Aegis for floating quietly over the Pacific. No damage, no breach. No escape pods launched. 84 people. Disappeared in 6 seconds. The room behind her was tense. External scan, she asked. Clean, said Dr. Abbas. No signs of approach, no weapons fire, no biological traces. Internal. Logs corrupted. Last readable file is 3 seconds before blackout. Play it. The screen flickered. Security camera view showed the command room of Aegis 4. Officers at their posts. Everything calm then. One officer looked up, eyes wide. A low hum filled the room. Not from the station, from somewhere else. Then dash static. Earth called it the 6-second event, and it wasn't the only one. 2 satellites over Asia blinked and came back empty of code. A deep space telescope in orbit around the moon stopped. Tracking Starzan started pointing at Earth. In Alaska, a Black Ops AI terminal typed something by itself. They have seen your orbit. They will not forget. Earth's leaders were running out of explanations. A meeting was called under Global Emergency Protocol. Redline, the highest level of alert on the planet. Every military and science leader sat in the underground council. Chamber holograms flickered above the table showing ships, orbiting patterns, and the silent fleet beyond Neptune. This isn't war, General Morrow growled. This is a message. A silent invasion. They're in our systems. in our orbit, and now they're in our heads. Dr. Saul added, they're not taking territory, they're erasing presence, removing humans from key points. Like pruning a tree before setting it on fire. Everyone fell quiet. Then Kessler stepped forward. We can't win by hiding. You have to make them see us. On our terms, if they think we're prey, then they haven't heard us roar yet. In a forgotten desert base in Argentina, Project Thunder began full activation. The first phase, Storm Protocol, massive generators powered up, humming with buried energy.
Satellites, realign.
A massive orbital pulse cannon code-named Thunder. Lance was aimed at the outer solar system. It wasn't ready yet, but it had to be, because something had changed. Earth's orbital grid, once filled with over 3,000 satellites, was now silent. Not destroyed, not damaged, just out. Every camera pointed downward. Every telescope shut. Earth's orbit had gone dead. On the Archangel station, high above the Indian Ocean, emergency lights flickered. 2 engineers remained. They hadn't vanished like the others. They hid in a maintenance shaft when the station went dark. Now, they crawled through narrow corridors, trying to find a way out. Suddenly, they heard it, a sound that didn't belong in space. Thunder, rolling deep. Distant thunder inside the station walls. Then came the voices, whispered, not in any human language, not spoken but felt. Your orbit is not yours. Your sky is not yours. Speak your last. Then the lights died again, and only one engineer made it out. He was recovered by an Earth retrieval drone. Said only 4 words before collapsing. There in the air, Dr. Alara Shin studied the orbital shifts. She noticed something. It's terrifying. Every satellite that went dead had stopped at the exact same rotation point, like they were being pulled by something unseen. She plotted the positions. It formed a pattern. A ring. A giant orbital ring, invisible to normal sensors, perfectly aligned around the planet, and at the center. Earth, not a battleground. A test site. Project Thunder fast-tracked the Helios Array, deep space kinetic pulse system that could fire bursts of gravity, twisted mass toward a target. The plan. Fire 1 pulse shot toward the region near Neptune, where the silent fleet was waiting, not to destroy, just to get a reaction. It was risky. But silence was killing Earth faster than war. General Morrow approved the launch. Kessler gave the order. The Thunder Lance fired. The shot was beautiful. A ribbon of distorted light, wrapped in magnetic fields, twisting through the black. It moved. Faster than any missile, any beam, any signal. Then it vanished. No impact. No echo. Just a single result. Every system on Earth flickered. Lights went out. Screens blinked white. People all over the world heard the same sound. For exactly 2.4 seconds, thunder. No. Source. No explanation, just sound. Raw. Deep. Ancient. Then came a new signal, broadcast through every device. Phones. Screens. Wristbands. Holograms. Even smart windows. First contact confirmed. Trial begins in 48 hours. You will not be warned again.
Oh, yes.
In orbit, the dead satellites turned slowly. One by one, till they all faced Earth, and every one of them displayed the same symbol. A black circle. 6 jagged claws. And 1 word, written in Earth's own languages. Witness Captain Kessler stood in the stormlit command chamber of Thunder Control. She looked out at the rain pouring down outside the dome. We spoke, she said quietly. They heard us, and... Now, Dr. Abos asked. She looked up at the sky. Now they're coming to see what thunder really means. The countdown reached 0 at exactly 6 o'clock Earth time. All around the world, people held their breath. Governments ordered cities to stay indoors. Military bases went into full lockdown. Observatories aimed every telescope at the stars. 4:10. Long seconds, nothing happened. Then the moon, Earth's oldest companion, blinked out of existence. Not destroyed. Not shattered. Not moved. Gone. For exactly 1 minute and 4 seconds, the moon vanished from the night sky. Telescopes pointed at where it should have been, saw nothing, no light, no mass, not even background stars. It was as if the moon had never existed. People screamed, cried, prayed, and just as suddenly as it disappeared, it returned. Same place. Same orbit. Same face. But it was no longer the same. Inside the Global Defense Command in Geneva, Captain Mira Kessler stared at the screen in silence. All lunar systems. Online again, a technician whispered. Kessler didn't speak. She couldn't. Her throat was dry. The moon, after being gone for over a minute, was now broadcasting strange signals. New signals, not human. Get me a surface scan, she finally ordered. The image came in. Gray craters, shadows, dust. Then they saw it all across the moon's surface. New lines had appeared. Deep grooves, perfectly straight, stretching for hundreds of kilometers, ancient-looking, precise together. It formed a giant sigil visible only from orbit. A symbol that matched the one Earth had seen before. A circle surrounded by 6 jagged lines. But that wasn't all. From the dark side of the moon, a low hum began to rise. It wasn't sound in the traditional sense. No air meant no vibration. But every microphone, every listening device on Earth's side of the moon picked it up. A deep, thunder-like rumble, continuous, steady, mechanical, and alive. Dr. Alara Shin called it the moon's pulse. Within the hour, gravitational sensors across Earth started going haywire. The tides shifted. Not dangerously, but oddly. Too smooth. Too controlled. Earth's orbit around the sun, normally stable, showed the slightest wobble. The scientists were stunned. Someone had touched the gravity of the entire SOR system. The system responded like a wire pulled tight. They didn't just take the moon, said Dr. Abbas. They edited it. Elsewhere, Project Thunder accelerated its plans. Deep under the Andes. Technicians worked day and night to bring the storm engine online. The storm engine was a last resort weapon, a planetary-scale electromagnetic device that could pulse across Earth's atmosphere and space, disabling anything that relied on electronics or communication. It had never been tested. No one knew if it would even work. But it was Earth's best hope. Kessler met with General Morrow underground, standing over a glowing map of the moon. They wanted us to see it, she said. That symbol, that hum. It's not a message. It's a warning. Morrow didn't argue. Then maybe it's time we answered back. With thunder. Meanwhile, the public reaction to the moon event spread across the world like wildfire. Some people panicked and fled cities. Others gathered in silence to stare at the sky, watching the moon like it might disappear again. Religious groups declared it divine judgment. Conspiracy theorists claimed the moon had been replaced, but most people just felt fear. Because something had touched the sky, and that something could do it again. In low orbit, Earth's remaining surveillance satellites began detecting movement. Tiny flashes, strange shadows, and then the sky broke, literally at 1429 Earth time. The clouds above the Pacific Ocean split not with wind, not with lightning, but with geometry. A perfect ring, over 400 kilometers wide, formed in the upper atmosphere. Not a hole, not smoke, a tear in reality itself. A blue on the outside, pure black inside, and from that ring came a shape. It wasn't a ship in the usual sense, not metal, not hard edges. It was smooth, shifting, like black glass floating through. Space, no visible engines, no weapons, no windows. It moved slowly, silently, then stopped, hovering just above the upper atmosphere. No attack, no signal, just presence. Then 2 more followed, then 10, then 30, all slowly spreading into position, covering the globe like a web. Earth's military scrambled jets, ready to orbital defenses, raised shields on the few space-capable warships left, but no one gave the order to fire, because no one knew what would happen if they did. Back at Geneva Command, the alien ring was being studied. Dr. Saul zoomed in on one section. There, she said, look closely. Everyone leaned forward. Inside the black of the sky tear were stars, But they weren't our stars. They didn't match Earth's sky. The constellations were wrong. She spoke in a whisper. It's not a weapon, it's a window. Suddenly, every screen in the control room blinked, and then a message. No sound, just text. Appearing on every screen in the world, from smartphones to orbital stations to car dashboards, in every language. Trial, Phase 1 complete. You are still present. The sky has been measured. The ground will now be tested. Earth's leaders could react. A new phenomenon began. Seismic echoes. Deep underground. In multiple locations across the globe, sensors picked up unfamiliar vibrations. Not natural quakes. Not tectonic movements. Patterns. Artificial frequencies. Rhythmic pulses. As if something beneath the Earth was waking up in one deep-sea trench. Sonar detected a structure rising from the ocean floor. A black monolith, smooth alien, 400 meters tall. It rose silently, hovered for 12 minutes, and then sank again, vanishing without a trace. By midnight, 12 more appeared in other parts of the world. Sahara Desert, Arctic Circle, Amazon Basin, Mariana Trench, Australian, Outback Himalayas, and 6 more. Their locations classified, each one the same. A black obelisk rising, then disappearing. Each one leaving behind a burst of energy that rippled through Earth's crust. Each one, seemingly, measuring something. Dr. Shin, watching the energy maps, made a realization. They're not looking for weakness. They're looking for resistance. Captain Kessler nodded grimly. They want to see if we'll fight back. And then finally, change. One of the alien skyships moved. It descended, slowly, carefully, heading straight toward the Nevada desert. Earth scrambled every defense system in the region. Fighters in the sky, tanks on the ground. Lasers locked, but the ship didn't fire. Instead, it hovered just above the storm engine facility. And then it opened. A hatch. A platform lowered, but no one came out. Instead, a pulse signal was transmitted directly into Earth's atmosphere, encoded, complex, mathematical. It wasn't a message. It was a challenge. Thunder Command received the signal first. After decoding it, Dr. Abbas turned pale. It's a trial map. A 3-phase test. Phase 1 is observation. Phase 2 is contact. Phase 3, he hesitated, is war. And with that, Earth's decision was made. The storm, engine half complete, would be activated. Not to destroy, but to shout to. Send one message back across the stars. Earth was not prey. Earth was not broken. Earth would answer. With thunder, Captain Kessler stood in the control room, hand over the activation panel. Ready the charge. General Morrow gave a firm nod. Make it loud. The world watched as the final sequence began. Storm engine charging, primary grid, engaged, frequency set. Humanity one target. All. SYSTEM. Kessler waited for the final prompt, then slammed the button. The storm engine fired. A wave of electromagnetic energy shot through Earth's skies bright. Burning, pure, it hit the alien ring above the planet and, for the first time, the dark ships reacted. They flickered, not damaged. Not destroyed, but stunned. Some drifted, some turned, and the tear in the sky began to shrink. Then, Earth's skies lit up not from war, but from response. Every ship turned toward Earth, and for the first time a sound filled the atmosphere. Not thunder from Earth, but thunder from above. Not noise, not rage, but a voice. We have seen your storm. We have felt your answer. Phase 3 begins now, as the last line echoed. Every human hearing it felt the same thing deep in their bones. The trial was no longer about survival. It was about earning a place in the galaxy, a place no one would ever give, a place humanity would take, with fire, with defiance, thunder. The storm engine had fired. Earth's skies were still humming with energy. Clouds shimmered like static. Satellites flickered back to life briefly before shutting down again. The pulse had worked. It had touched the alien sky ring. It had made them move. But it wasn't enough. The trial had entered Phase 3. And now, Earth had to survive it. Project Thunder had been Earth's last resort contingency built in secret after the Mars Wars. Stored in a hollowed mountain deep beneath the Andes, the world knew of the storm engine, but not of what came next. The Helios Array, the Thunderlance, the Echo Vault, and the Core Mind. Together, they formed Earth's true response plan. A plan no alien would expect. A plan made not to ask for peace, but to demand it. Captain Mira Kessler stood in the command deck of Thundercore, staring at the cracked monitors, the humming generators, and the 6 massive doors that had never been opened until now. General Morrow stood beside her. "You're sure about this?" he asked. She looked up. Her voice was steady. "If we wait, they break us one piece at a time. A satellite today, city tomorrow, then the planet." Morrow nodded. "Then wake it." They activated the Core Mind. Thunder's AI silent for 10. Years came alive. A deep pulse echoed through the facility. Lights blinked in perfect sequence. Doors unlocked. Energy flowed like blood. The screens all turned white. Then one word appeared, spoken in a clear human voice. "I hear the silence." The Core Mind was no ordinary AI. It wasn't built to run weapons. It was built to feel patterns, to detect threats Earth couldn't yet understand the last time it had been used. It predicted the Helios disaster on Mars 29 hours before it happened. It had only been wrong once. Now, studied the alien pattern. The sky ring, the gravity pulses, the moon's reappearance, the trial map, sound. Then it gave its first answer: human survival, 16%, recommended response. Controlled detonation of Thunderlance. The room fell quiet. Even Kessler paused. Detonation. She asked to Core Mind clarified. Launch Thunderlance at coordinates 000. Cause spatial rupture at trial origin point. Wake the hidden eye. Dr. Abbas blinked. What hidden eye? Core Mind responded. The observer behind the test. The one who does not speak. Deep space scans had missed something in the black between systems. Past Neptune. Past the Kuiper Belt. Behind the stars, there was something there. Not a ship, not a gate, a void. 30-6 Earth probes had passed through that region in the last 50 years. None had reported anything unusual, but Core Mind saw the pattern. The trial fleet wasn't sending signals into space, they were sending them behind them, towards something unseen, a watcher, the architect. The Thunderlance was Earth's most powerful weapon, not a missile, not a laser. A kinetic mass railgun, 12 kilometers. Long hidden inside a carved mountain range in Antarctica. Firing metal rods wrapped in dense field coils at relativistic speeds, designed to tear through asteroids. Ships, or even space itself. It had never been fired at full power, because firing it might break. Something humanity couldn't fix, but Earth had no better plan. Kessler stood before the launch panel. Her hand hovered over the key. If this fails, Morrow answered, then we fail loudly. She turned the key. Thunderlance roared to life. A long howl echoed through the mountain. Range as magnetic coils screamed. The entire Earth seemed to vibrate. And then boom. A streak of white fire shot upward into the sky, disappearing into the black. A clean, silent arc, heading toward the trial's origin point. The moment it passed Neptune's orbit, the sky changed. The stars shimmered. Every telescope on Earth caught it, like a curtain had been pulled back behind the trial fleet far. Far behind was a shape, impossible to measure. Wrong to look at, its angles bent light. Its outlines seemed to shift depending on who viewed it. But one thing was clear. It was awake, and it had just been hit. The Helios array picked up the result first. A gravitational wave, massive, pure, ancient, and then a voice, not sound, not language, a pulse. You are not prey, you are not threat, you are anomaly.
Oh.
The message was sent not to Earth's military systems, but into every human brain. The people around the world felt it not. Heard, but felt a calm pressure in their thoughts. A presence the architect had spoken, and it was now watching directly core. Mind immediately began compiling the message. The voice is not of the trial fleet, it said. This is their judge, their creator,
Ow.
the one who watches to see what survives. What does it want? Morrow asked. It wants to see what happens next. But the trial was not over. The voice did not stop the alien fleet. It simply watched the sky ring above. Earth began to shift again. This time, not just floating, descending, pieces of it broke off. Meteor-sized objects, black, sharp, falling. Earth missile defense systems activated. Lasers fired. Railguns launched. Some of the objects were destroyed, but not all. One of them hit the Gobi Desert. The impact did not explode. Instead, it opened, and from it, something climbed out. Not a ship, not a soldier, a probe. Smooth, silent. Watching Dr. Alara Shin, reviewing scans from orbit, called it a judgment seed. A living data core, sent to record human reactions. Responses, fear, unity, war. What are they trying to learn? She asked. Core Mind answered. Not what you destroy, but what you protect. Kessler stood in front of the map again. 12. More seeds had landed, one in each major biome of Earth. They weren't attacking. They weren't speaking, they were just watching, and that was worse. Humanity responded in every way it knew. In some regions, people tried to destroy the seeds. In others, they surrounded them with peace symbols, art, even music. In one area, a child touched the surface of a seed and the object glowed for 9 seconds. In another, a military team opened fire and the object turned invisible. The seeds weren't machines. They were questions, and humanity was giving answers. Back at Thunder, Core Mind gave one final warning. Trial completion. 82% last phase incoming. Stand by for storm signal. What's a storm signal? Kessler asked. Core Mind paused. The sky will break again. This time, from within. And at that moment all across Earth, the clouds began to twist. Not from above, from below. Thunder was rising. The sky should fall from above, but this time, it didn't. It rose from beneath. All across Earth, clouds curled unnaturally. It's not from wind or heat, but from something under the ground, something deep, ancient and powerful. In the skies above New Zealand, a lightning storm began without warning. In Brazil, the sun vanished at noon, eclipsed by a black shadow that shouldn't be there. In Siberia, the air froze in place for exactly 42 seconds. It was happening everywhere. Not destruction, not yet, but pressure, a global test. The final phase of the trial begun. Inside Thunder Core, Captain Myra Kessler stared at the readings on screen. Atmospheric pressure rising at key locations, gravity spiking in short waves, energy feedback from all trial seeds. Core Mind, she said, what are we looking at? The AI answered instantly. Simulated extinction wave. This is not war. This is measurement. General Morrow clenched his fists. They want to see how we break. Dr. Abbess looked up from his console. Or how we survive. And Earth did survive. Because in every region, people acted. Not just governments or soldiers. Everyone. In Africa, civilians cleared evacuation paths faster than any AI algorithm predicted. In Europe, ancient catacombs were reopened to house vulnerable populations. In India, thousands formed human chains to reconnect broken power lines by hand. And in the Pacific, islanders sent up mirrors and beacons, signaling unity in a dozen languages. Humanity was being watched. And humanity responded, not with silence, but with action. Above, the trial fleet watched from orbit, still silent, still unmoving. But the seeds, the black alien objects scattered across Earth, began to glow. Not red, not warning. Blue, a soft, pulsing blue dot like approval in the city of Dakar. A boy named Toma approached one of the seeds. His mother begged him not to. but he walked anyway slow. Calm, unafraid. He reached out his hand, touched the surface. The seed opened, not with fire, not with power, with music. A single note, low, deep, beautiful. It played for 7 seconds, then stopped, and in that moment, every human on earth heard something not in their ears, but in their minds. You are still yourselves. You did not become us. You did not become them, you answered. Back at Thunder Core, the core mind confirmed it. Observer's signal received. Judgment node, waking. Everyone looked at each other. What's a judgment node? Kessler asked. Core mind answered. The final decision maker. It does not speak. It only acts. Suddenly, the sky ring broke apart, the once perfect ring that had hovered above Earth for days and moving. Terrifying, now shattered. Into pieces. But those pieces didn't fall. They flew. Upward. Fast. Disappearing from Earth's orbit in seconds. The trial fleet followed. 32 ships gone in less than a minute, leaving behind only one thing, a dark shape, slowly descending from where the ring had hovered. A sphere, unmarked, silent. It was the judgment node. Every world leader, general, scientist, and observer tuned in. It hovered in the upper atmosphere, directly above the equator. Threatening. Not glowing, waiting, Captain Kessler stood in the open-air platform of Thunder Core. The sky above her was cloudy, silent, and tense. She took a breath. Then she spoke, not through radio, not through data, but through Earth's last amplifier. The speaker tower, built to send a message loud enough to shake orbit. We heard you, she said. We saw your fleet. We survived your silence. We stood through your test. We lost good people. We stayed together. We fought for each other. And now, you want judgment? She raised her head. We're still here. And if that's not enough, then do your worst. For 15 seconds, nothing happened. Then, the sky smiled. Not literally, but all across. The planet, light beams, soft, golden blue, streaks shot down from the sphere above. They didn't strike, they didn't burn. They simply touched the Earth. 12 beams in total, one for each major continent and biome. Each one hit the location of a trial seed. And when the light faded, the seeds were gone. In their place stood small towers, black metal, its alien design, smooth and humming. And each tower displayed the same message. In every language of Earth, you have answered. You remain. Now others must hear you. You're in thunder. Core erupted into motion. What does that mean? Dr. Abbas asked. Are we done? Core mind processed for 4 seconds. Trial complete. Outcome. Passage. Earth is now recognized as an independent voice. You are invited to respond. General. Morrow narrowed his eyes. Respond to what? Core mind paused again. Then, to the others. A new signal began transmitting from the judgment node coordinates. Thousands of them. Star systems, worlds, names, alien races, civilizations, some known, some very unknown. They are watching you now. Earth had passed. Not with perfect scores. Not without scars, but it had not been erased. Instead, it had been heard. 2 days later, the judgment node vanished, just blinked out like it had never existed. But the message remained. The tower, seeds now served a new purpose. Beacons, transmitting. Earth's voice, outward, not begging, not warning, but speaking freely. And so, the final report was written. Trial complete, speaker world identified. Earth species, humanity primary response. THON, 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 THON. But speaking frightfully. And so, the final report, and so raid. The final report was written. What inserted proent? THON, 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 THON. A bender. Riend. I don't say NHON. All stout. Penreland. And I'll say N-O-N. I'll date R-N. I'll be in one the way to say it. I'll walk on to when O-N we and when N-N we and set a set and pemmin we and to send to a N san and resever to win set ren we are but we do we and send we Kessler stood on a cliffside near Thunder Core, watching a launch. It wasn't a missile. It wasn't a missile. It was a ship, the first of many, new sleek, armed with knowledge gathered from the trial, heading out toward the stars, not to attack, not to conquer, but to answer. She smiled. We're still here, she whispered, and now they'll hear us coming. For centuries, the galaxy had ignored Earth. Too small, too late, too loud. A wild world in a quiet corner. Species that fought more with itself than with others. They thought humans would burn out before they ever reached deep space. They were wrong, because now the trial was over. And Earth had spoken, across distant stars, in ancient halls and silent stations. Powerful civilizations listened to a signal they never expected to hear. This is Earth. We survived. We endured. We answered. And now we speak. The galaxy had many voices, older, wiser, larger. But Earth's voice was something new, sharp, raw, alive. It didn't ask for permission. It didn't wait for an invitation. It declared itself as one who stood the trial and remained. And the other species, they were listening in the Valoran assembly, where logic ruled for 9,000 years. Counselor Ikthara reviewed Earth's, broadcast with a twitch of her facial spines. Their world is chaotic, she said, their science primitive, and yet they shattered the silence protocol in Phase 3. Another counselor hissed. That shouldn't be possible. Is exactly why they're dangerous. On the far side of the spiral arm in the Jerez Dominion, warlords gathered around a hologram of Earth's storm response. The great war leader, Hrothvarn, slammed his fist into the table. They built a thunder engine. Without Voitech, gate access. Without collective design, they did it alone, he growled. Send a scout fleet. Observation, one asked. No, Hrothvarn said. Respect. And in the dark, far beyond charted space, the archivists, a machine intelligence so old that stars had died beneath their watch cataloged. Earth's final signal, we are still here. One archivist paused. A rare thing, it processed the signal again, analyzed the rhythm. The tone, it added one new label to its endless database. Humanity, E in Pard, I set a bell, less back on Earth. Project Thunder had changed. No longer a defense system. Now it was Earth's speaker, a rail linked to the alien. Seed towers. Pulsing Earth's signal outward to every known sector. Ships from Earth were being built not just for travel but for answers. They would visit the coordinates left by the judgment node, not to conquer. Not to beg, to say 3 words. We are here. Captain Myra Kessler was now Fleet Admiral. She stood at the launch platform of Earth's first diplomatic warship, ESS Echofire, designed for speed, for survival. For voice, her crew was trained. For battle, yes, but also for dialogue, for curiosity, for respect without surrender. We're not going out there to fight, she told them. We're going out there to be heard. Their first mission, contact the Jarun Accorda, collection of 11 worlds who refused to take part in the trial. They believed in silence, in waiting, in hiding. But now, they would have to hear Earth's voice. The journey took 9 days. Through artificial worm streams, the Echofire emerged near the outer rim of a red dwarf system. Immediately, Earth's ship was scanned, shadowed, and warned. Unregistered species. No gate authorization. Turn back. Kessler smiled. She opened her gums. No. There was a pause. Repeat. She leaned closer. We don't need permission to exist. We passed the trial. And we're here to talk. What followed was 3 hours of silence. Then Jarun sent a message. Not rejection. Not weapons. An invitation. Across the stars, Earth's first crew sat at the edge of a high council, surrounded by beings older than their entire civilization. 1. Jarun Elder stared at Kessler and asked the only question that mattered. What gave you the strength to speak when the trial tried to break you? She answered without hesitation, because silence is where civilizations go to die, and Earth roars. News of Earth's contact spread fast, too fast. Some species welcomed the new speaker world, others feared it, and one prepared. For war, in the black systems near the galactic core, the Zelnari shroud watched. Earth's rise with fury. They had long ago failed the trial, and they didn't want new voices in the galaxy, especially not one born of fire, thunder, and defiance. At Thunder Core Mind picked up a new signal. Distorted, malicious, faint but growing. A ship, or a fleet, heading toward Earth, unregistered, unseen for millennia. Label: Zelnari. Dreadcore purpose: silence the voice. Kessler was informed while still aboard. Go fire. She didn't flinch. Instead, she sent out Earth's next message to the stars. You watched us. You tested us. Now you'll see what happens when you try to shut us up. And this time, the stars didn't just listen. They answered. Allies Earth hadn't met before. Ships from systems Earth had only heard about. Voices once silent, now rising. They came. Not to fight for Earth, but to fight with Earth. Because in a galaxy of silence, one world refused to stay quiet. They came in the dark, no warning, no message, no demand. The Zelnari Dreadcore, a fleet of black bone-like ships, older than some. Galaxies moved like a whisper through space. Their purpose was simple. They were the silencers of species that had failed the trial. Long ago, and vowed no one else would pass. Now they were coming for Earth, not to speak, not to negotiate, to erase. Inside Thundercore, the alarm screamed. Core Mind lit up every screen with red. Dreadcore fleet approaching at light shear velocity, estimated. Contact, 36 hours. Intent, planetary erasure. General Morrow's voice was hard. How many ships? 72? Dr. Abbas whispered. They're bringing an extinction fleet. Captain Kessler now? Admiral didn't blink. Then we respond. Earth's new civilizations, once afraid to speak now, rallied. Because Earth had given them something they never had, permission to roar. From across the stars came help. A Kralon resonance battleship from the Azari. Cluster 3 Etherwings from the Xenok, the Arclume of Thassa's Prime, even the silent Ara. Sent a pulse shield beacon. They didn't come for pity. It came because Earth had stood when no one else did. Now Earth would not stand alone. Above the planet, Earth's new orbital thunder grid powered up. 12 fusion-powered defense rings. Each one capable of firing plasma arcs that could break asteroids in half. Thunder Lance recharged. Helios Array realigned. And from hidden vaults, Earth activated Eidolon protocols, gravity-based field distorters, pulled from recovered alien tech. For the first time, Earth didn't just prepare for war, it invited it. The Dreadcore ships arrived like shadows stretching. Across light, they didn't fire weapons, they absorbed them. The first few defense bursts vanished into the dark holes. Earth's missiles twisted and fell apart mid-flight. One Kralon ship was consumed by silence in seconds. The galaxy had never seen weapons like the Zelnari, and still, Earth did not retreat. Kessler stood on the deck of SS Echofire, leading the Earth-born and allied fleet from low orbit. She opened a channel on every known frequency. To the Dreadcore, you failed your trial. That was your burden. But you do not erase our voice just because you lost yours. We survived thunder. We earned the stars, and we are not afraid. No reply, just a pulse. Darkness wave headed straight for Earth. Core Mind instantly responded. Now, fire. Thunder Lance fired at full power. Helios fired. The allied fleets fired. And for a moment, the black pulse staggered. One Dreadcore ship cracked, another split, but still they came. Closer, closer. And then, Earth unleashed its final answer. Project Echo Fall. It wasn't a weapon. It was a song, a sound wave, crafted from Earth's history, thunderclaps, Heartbeats, ocean roars, cries of newborns, drums of war, laughter, wind, static, and the final voice of the first child who touched a trial seed. The signal played once then. Echoed in every direction. It wasn't just sound. It was identity. Earth's voice. And the dread core hesitated, for the first time in their ancient, shattered existence. They heard not commands, not silence, but life, and some of them stopped. One by one, a few ships turned, drifted away, and in the heart of the Zelnari fleet the silence began to fracture, but not all turned. The lead ship, the Dreadcore Prime, charged forward, intent on finishing what it started. It broke through the defense net, sliced through Earth's upper atmosphere, seconds from impact, and then ISS fire rammed it. Head on, the blast was bright enough to light the sky across half the planet. The flagship gone, Kessler gone, but the Dreadcore Prime was destroyed, and the rest. They ran, not from fear, but from understanding. Back on Earth, people stood in silence, not from grief, from pride, because Earth had done what few ever dared. It had spoken, it had fought, and it had refused to be silenced. The judgment towers pulsed. Once more, not blue, not red dot, but gold. The final signal echoed across the stars. Speaker world, Earth trial past truth established, the voice remains in the ruins of Thundercore. A new monument was built, not to war, not to victory, to voice. At the center stood the words, "We answered anyway," and the stars heard us.